everybody. Welcome to the show. A couple of things I want to talk about tonight. On the 21st, let me see what day that is, because I know today's the 18th, and I can't count. That's Thursday. I am going to be a guest host on Revolution Radio from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is at freedomslips.com. I'll put an announcement on to my list, 6 to 8, where I can have the floor and talk about anything I want to talk about for 2 hours on Revolution Radio. So this should be interesting. I have no idea what I'll talk about, but I'm not sure the words either. So I'm sure it's going to be interesting. Whatever the Lord leads me to talk about, maybe I'll have the destruction of New York to talk about by then. Let's see, the 20th. Is that when I said, yeah, that's when I said the water would be in New York. I'm really not going to talk about it tonight because everybody and their mother and grandfather has a video on it. So you can sit and kill yourself watching videos on all the hurricanes starting up in the east and now even in the west. And so this is cleansing time, you know. This whole Revelation 12 sign thing hitting this week, and also the hurricanes and all the symbolisms involved. And, you know, Jupiter leaves Virgo tomorrow, the 19th. So in other words, it's birth. The birth is actually tomorrow. But let's play along. Let's play along with their little timeline, their little fairy timelines. And the 20th is when they were planning to deluge New York with water. And, of course, whatever they're using water, it's cleansing. So I guess they figure that they need to cleanse the world of its finances because Wall Street is hugely symbolic for the world's finances. And so the World Financial Center, and they're going to cleanse it, which means they're going to rebirth it, I guess, because we're going into a new financial system, and they are going to feature. Some of you have been talking about this RV, revaluation of world's currencies, coming up, and maybe they're going to kick it off. And so, who knows? So I doubt they're going to kick it off. They're going to have their little birthing ritual and cleansing the water ritual. I'm trying to think, because I don't think anybody saw it coming as taking out New York City. You know, their original thing was to blow up the Hoover Dam in Arizona. And we kind of took that one. Well, they could do it if they want to. But we kind of took it away from them. And then they were going to do the one in California. And I don't know what happened with that one. I guess it wasn't the Grand Poobah that they wanted. And so now they're going for just cleanse the whole financial world of Manhattan, I guess. I don't even care. I mean, it's just like, you know, we've asked the Father to turn off the orgo and just let it destroy New York. I don't even care at this point. And so we want to get things going. We want to get out of here. And we're never going to get out of here unless things start kicking up. And y'all have had plenty of warnings to get off the coast or run. And you always have the Father. He'll protect his own. Those who really can't leave finances or whatever, he may just set you out a float on top of the water. Who knows? Maybe he'll just be angry. I don't know. But they want to do their little cleansing ritual on the 20th, and I just can't get into it. And you know why? Because the Father's always told me he wants me to watch for his coming, not theirs. I've warned for years about what their plans are, and they're coming. And so now he wants me to perhaps just put a lid on it and watch for his coming, because that one's much more exciting. Now, if you look at all of the predictive programming they're all predictive programming a huge event on 9/23, and that is Saturday. And I was looking at one, and the one cracks me up. It's, the girl is gone. 9/23. I guess that's the name of a movie. But we all know they're waiting for me to leave, so when I saw it, I just cracked up. The girl is gone, 9/23. And that, they've been featuring CERN opening up this doorway. I remember Madonna's concerts 2 years ago. In 2015, she was on a world tour because I thought it was going to happen back then. And she was on a world tour back then, raising up energy for the 9/23 event when the gateways, portals in space would be opened up, and all these fallen angel and demonic beings were going to descend on Earth. And it was a hugely satanic rituals going on a lot during that time. And so fast forward, and I see what I see is they're all piling in. I don't see chaos, but I see them all piling in because they want to see the show. They want to come in and watch the show. And of course, they're all in their plastic synthetic bodies that they've manufactured and created because they want to look human. They want to look like gurus, ascended masters. Everybody's waiting for this eighth regime to come to Earth. So they want to look human. So they'll have on their plastic bodies, in the Bible codes, plastic, plasticine, roboton, robotoids, different words used for them. They want to come in and watch the show. And so they're going to be piling up, and I'll tell you exactly where they're going to pile up. They're going to pile up around Ohio. You can watch the entire region, Ohio, PA, New York, Indiana, Kentucky, maybe parts of Canada over the Great Lakes. They're going to pile up into this whole region because they want to watch the elect leaving. And so this is the date that they've pegged for this, or maybe they're planning for something else, and they get upstaged. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I know that they're all piling in. I see that in the codes. They're going to pile in. We certainly have hot days this weekend coming up for leaving, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Like I said, there's always hot days, and then there's cold days. For when we're leaving, nobody knows the exact day or hour, and so, I haven't got any signs from the Most High. I'm waiting for my sign. He told me that when the elect were leaving, he would give me a sign, and so that's what I'm waiting for. It has nothing to do with scumbags piling in the region or planets aligning. It has nothing to do with any of that. But when I get my sign, I will shout it from the rooftops that the elects are leaving. And so I will be watching for it all week, especially this weekend. Let them go ahead with their little birthing rituals and all that, because they already know that they're going to piggyback our leaving with their arrival. I mean, this has been planned for ages. Shocks no one, not me. I always said our leaving and their arriving would be like synonymous, like we're seeing them come down when we're going up. That's how it always looked in the codes, like it was going to happen on the same day. But, it could be the same time frame. It could be the same week or month. You can't pin a day either. And so it's just always synonymous events. And so, and I've always put the two events as separate: the great cosmic event, the elect leaving, and then the arrival of the Ashtards. I don't know, Ashtar Command, Galactic Federation, Ascended Masters, New Age scumbags, whatever you want to call them. They're all Satan's people coming to Earth. And so this could be an interesting week for us. Because I'm not going to watch. My eyes are focused on them. My eyes are focused on the Father. And I want to go home. I want to go home. So we're holding our breath, too. We're holding our breath. 23rd, 24th, 25th. And even a couple days later on the Enochian calendar with the Feast of Tabernacles and Gathering, the 28th. Because we know the pole flip was scheduled for the end of September, and it's not going to happen with the elect here. So people, as long as it's delayed, that the elect is still here, it's kind of like a delaying grace to everybody else because the pole flip's not going to happen till we're gone. And so it's kind of like, can we just get Crunch Week on? Because if there ever was a Crunch Week, it's this week, right? So, birthing ritual on the 20th for them. Blah, blah, blah. And maybe we get to go home this weekend. Father's had me busy on projects, and, you know, it's been a lot of work. It's been time-consuming. And I'd like to thank the people who have helped finance me on this because it's taken so much to get done for an old granny to get this stuff done with the help of kids. But like I revealed last week, and I'm going to talk a little bit about tonight, this is one of the reasons they're all piling in to watch the show. Because you think they'd be happy that the elect are leaving. That's not really what they want to see. What they want to see is when we leave, we're taking the Ark of the Covenant with us. And yeah, we're taking it with us. And so I started tripping over myself here because I don't know, giving out information is my thing until it's, pearls before too much swine. I don't know. I get hesitant about things of the fathers, but I've been telling you that there was two arcs. One is real and one is fake. And I know where the real one is. I know which one is what. And so, you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that and say the elect will be bringing it home with them when they leave. And so that's what they're all coming in for. They want to see the ark. Because when you look at the second coming of Christ, when the heavens open up and you see the Yahushua sitting on the white horse and his armies behind him, descending a battle of Armageddon, the ark is in heaven. It's in heaven. And so how did it get off earth to heaven? Well, because we take it with us. We take it with us. He's had me in one of the most fascinating things, and I've known this for a long time about the pyramid, but it's kind of one of those pieces of information you file and put away because you're not sure what to do with it. There's a lot of truths about the ancient days that I know about that I don't spend a lot of time on because, frankly, people just can't believe it, and so I don't expound on things. The Great Center Pyramid of Giza, the Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, is in the exact center of the earth. It was a sign in the land by the Father. They have predated it to have existed before the flood, which means it existed during the time Enoch was on the earth. And Enoch was one of the greatest patriarchs of the Bible. You wouldn't know it because the churches don't teach him because they decided in the 1600s he wasn't important enough to be included in the KJV. They threw him out to put in Paul. Can you imagine? They threw out Enoch for a book of Paul's. Enoch was a man who walked with God. He never died. He was carried up to heaven in a chariot. He never died. Who else was carried up to heaven in a chariot and never saw death? Elijah. Are they the two witnesses that returns soon? Maybe. But this pyramid is talked about in Deuteronomy 19 and also in Jeremiah. The Lord would have signs and wonders in the land of Egypt and a sign in the land. A sign in the land. People, you don't get it. Putting his ownership of earth right there in the center of earth. The center of earth was his sign. That was his signature, his stamp. This is mine. Earth is mine. People think earth is Satan's. Y'all give Satan too much credit. He's allowed to do things. He's allowed to have things. He was given a time frame, and then it's all gone. He loses everything. He was given a time frame. Now, the interesting thing about this pyramid, each rock or boulder is 1 ton, 1 to 2 tons apiece. No rock was less than 1 ton. And guess how many there are? 144,000 that built this pyramid. 144,000 of these 1 ton rocks in this pyramid. It is a triangle on a square base. It covers 13 acres of land. Is that number 13? 13 acres of land. 12 apostles plus Yahushua. 13. The Most High God had 12 daughters and 2 sons. One rebelled, the Prodigal Son. Left him with 12 daughters and 1 son, Yahushua. There's your number 13. When you look in the pyramid, it had a king's chamber and a queen's chamber. Now, what would the father need with a queen's chamber? You know, this was all information that was well known back in the day. But over the years, the scribes and the historians have wiped it all out because they wanted to control the narratives. They wanted to control what you knew was part of your past, or who God was, or what really happened, or the pre-Adamic times, or the early days of Adam. They've always tried to control what you know. So when a big mouth comes on the scene and starts busting out truth bombs, they get upset. They also pile above your house at night to listen to your show every Monday night. What's she going to reveal now? What's she going to say now? Yeah, the father has 12 daughters. He had 2 sons. One sat on the left side and one sat on the right side. And the one on the left rebelled. Yeah, have you noticed the left is always evil? Isn't it the evil libtard left now that we always have to deal with? Isn't the left eye they're always hiding, covering the one eye symbology of the libtard evil Satan freaks story of the prodigal son? Only the prodigal son never returned. There was a war in heaven instead, and he was kicked out of heaven, and he was kicked into what we consider space. Tried to build his own solar system and use Nibiru as the sun. And then Nibiru was cast out. He lost Nibiru. He had to go to Orion. Claimed Orion as his home base, which is a hugely reptilian constellation because that's all the angels that fell with him. They were all turned into reptiles. When he was turned into a curse as a reptile in the Garden of Eden, all of the angels who rebelled with him and fell from heaven with him were turned into reptiles as well. That's why we have the reptilians today, the lizards. And that's why they're the controllers and the hidden masters behind the scenes, because they control the world with Lucifer. And they all look like lizards because they all got punished together for Lucifer's sins. It all starts to make sense when you have a little bit of info, when you start to take the blinders off your eyes. But I wanted to talk about other aspects. You know, when you look at the pyramid, the symbol of a pyramid, geometry shapes are not evil. That's one of the things that Christians have to get over too, because they be thinking crystals are evil. Crystals are all over heaven. They're gonna have a problem with heaven. Gemstones were created by the Father. He loves crystals. And geometry shapes, Satan doesn't own anything. He just took over things and made them abominable, the things he did with them. There's nothing evil about a triangle. It's a geometry shape. It also represents a portal and a gateway. And if you look at the Great Pyramid, there were entrances for the king from the north and where he could leave in the south. And the same with the queens. They had their own entrance and their own descending passageways to the south. The Father would visit earth, and so would the queens. Queens instead of princesses, because the queens are rulers. You know, heaven was an initial 14-planet solar system. And when Lucifer rebelled, the queens destroyed their planets, so he couldn't have them, because he was taking over all of the planets. There was a huge war in heaven. And what he had done and why the queens destroyed all their planets, so he couldn't have them. And you're looking at them today, Mars, Mercury, Uranus, all those planets used to be houses. Houses were called planets, but the planets were called houses, and they were ruled by a queen. Because he did back then what he's doing now. There was a huge Hadron Collider thing in Nibiru, and he was using it to pull in all these ugly, demonic-looking creatures from other parts of the universe, and he pulled them into this planet and hid them away. And then when he rebelled against the Father and he started getting resistance against the other angels, he unleashed all the creatures in heaven. He unleashed them everywhere. And this is what he's going to do again on earth. Nothing new under the sun, the Father says, the Bible says. And that's true, because everything that he did then, he's going to do again. Nothing new under the sun. The pyramid is representative of portals and gateways. There's also other portals on the earth that the Father has accessed. There is one in the top of Mount Sinai. Remember, he gave Moses the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. And then Moses threw them at the calf when he came down off the mountain and saw the children of Israel had built a calf, a strange god, an idol. And he threw the commandments at them and broke them. Then they had to go back up a short time later and get the commandments from the Father again. So there's some kind of portal on Mount Sinai. And I often see it in the codes. But I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I don't even know. There's also a portal in the Ark of the Covenant, because the Father's glory would rest between the two cherubim. If you see the Ark of the Covenant, they have their wings bowed out towards each other, and his presence would be in the center of their wings. On the Ark of the Covenant would rest there. So that is, when it's activated itself, is a portal for the Father. And so those are the three that I know that the Father himself has access to here on earth. I know that there's a portal in the Gulf of Aden, because that is the Gulf of Eden. The Garden of Eden was over there. And the Gulf of Aden is right between Yemen and Ethiopia, somewhere over there, between Africa and Yemen. That whole area, folks, was where the original Garden of Eden was. When the Father wants to bury something, and he does, the Garden of Eden's probably at the bottom of that gulf. But I know that there's a portal there. Every once in a while, you'll see all the worlds sending their ships there. All the world's navies will send their ships there, because something's coming through that portal in space. And then they get hush-hush about what's really going on over there. And you have ships from every country going over there in that little area. And so there's definitely a portal. I knew there was a portal over. That's when Lucifer used to access the Garden of Eden from Orion. He was at the constellation Orion. And that's how he gained access to Earth, was he had created a portal by the Garden of Eden, and that's how he got into the garden to seduce Lilith and then Eve. And the angels never knew he was coming in there because he would go in at night, and the angels were leaving at night. And so, portal there. There's also would be a portal over, and they found it as the Eridu Gate, the Gate of Eridu over in Iraq, ancient Babylon, because that was the first city on Earth. It was Lucifer's angels, his fallen angels who fell with him, that built the first city over there in Babylon. That's where they set up shop. And that also became the first city. It was very advanced, very technological. Everything they don't want you to think it was. They want you to think it was mud huts. Very advanced. And so that's why that whole area just became abominable. And Abraham was led out of there. He grew up over there. The father let him out of there, become the father of Israel. But when you know the ancient histories, it makes things a little bit more fascinating, because they've kept so much truth, not just out of the history books, but out of the Bibles. They've kept a lot of truths out to control what you think, what you know. And they put all this information and knowledge in the secret societies. They hold themselves as the keepers, the guardians of the truth. They stole all of Solomon's books. Israel's king. They stole his books. Those belong to us. The pyramid of Giza, that's ours. So why do they take all these symbols and make them abominable? You know, you see all these Satan freaks walking around pointing the triangle symbol, pyramid, and the all-seeing eye. You know what's almost funny about that? It's because the only one that's all-seeing, omniscient, omniscient, omnipresent is the Father. And the pyramid was his. It was his great sign in the land. It was also his temple. It used to be all laid out in white limestone with a pure gold apex top. It was his. Then you got all these Satanists going around with the triangle, the pyramid thing, and the all-seeing eye. You know? And everybody thinks these are Illuminati symbols, and the Illuminati use them, but what's the real meaning? Are they just mocking the whole thing? Mocking his temple on Earth, which was originally the pyramid? Are they just mocking it? Are they just letting everybody know? I mean, that they're trying to mimic that? Because the all-seeing eye thing, the only way they'll ever get that is satellites and police states, tying everybody up into the beast computer, the all-knowing, all-seeing beast computer, and the only way they can do that is to get everybody chip implanted and hooked up into it, and that's their end goal. That's the plan, to get everybody chip implanted and hooked into the system. Didn't Pink Floyd call it the machine? Welcome to the machine. Lucifer used to write a lot of Pink Floyd songs. He's written a lot of music. He's always been a musician. That's what he started out as before he turned into a politician. Said it was much more fun as a politician, lying and deceiving people, than staying as a musician. Because that's what he does. That's what he lies and he deceives. He wants to destroy your soul. Another interesting aspect is the land of Egypt itself. Not too far from where the Garden of Eden was. And it was always rich, fertile land that was there. I mean, where would Israel go when the famines were coming and they were hungry? They would go to Egypt to get food. Egypt had huge storehouses. Because Egypt wasn't the New York city of the planet that was over in Iraq. Those people were starving, Cain's kids, because all they want to do is party and feed off of the food everybody else makes and produces. They're too stupid to do anything else. They want to control the city life, the nightlife. Egypt was a fertile place, and that's where the gardeners were in. And who was the gardeners, folks. It's always been Israel. You had your hunters and you had your gatherers, and Cain was the hunter, and Abel and Seth were the gatherers. They were the gardeners, along with Adam. Eventually the whole area would become abominable because Ham's kids, who were given that area after the flood, would procreate with the Anunnaki over there that was coming down from Mars and inhabiting Egypt. That's why you have those long-necked, freaky Egyptian-looking people. Those aren't real humans, folks. You don't ever figure that out? They're actually from Mars. They were the original Martians. People think of Martians and they think of little green men. The original Martians were the original Egyptians. You're looking at them. There were people who lived on Mars, because that's where Maitreya's from, and he's going to come play the Islam Mahdi, the 12th Imam. He's actually been the ruler of Mars. He's lived on Mars, and those were all his kids. They were coming down to Earth and procreating with Ham's kids in Africa. And then you had Ham's kids over in Canaan procreating with the giants. So it's not just all about, one seed line. There's several. I mean, you've got Eve having children with Lucifer, creating the Indian race of today. You have Lilith having children with Lucifer and creating the Asian races of today, the almond-eyed people. Almond-eyed races are all Lilith's kids. And do you know there's more Christians today in China than people in America? Isn't that amazing? I heard that the other day. I thought that was wow. And you know what? They kill them over there. They kill Christians over there. China's supposed to be an atheist nation. So they don't want anybody believing in any God. They have it rough. Where's their rapture? They never get a rapture. They've been persecuted all these years. Christians in America have this entitlement that we can have no persecution here until a rapture. Meanwhile, they kill you off every year. Cancers, assassinations, pick us off. The Lord's salvation is open to all races. Anyone who wants to acknowledge Yeshua as the Messiah, his salvation is open to all. Anyway, folks, maybe we need to rethink this whole symbology thing with why the Satanists are always throwing up the pyramid signs and one-eyed symbolism, since it only could represent the Father. Why are they promoting the Father? They're Satanists. Kind of crazy, huh? Now the upside down pyramid would be Satan's way of making the original pyramid abominable. They have the upside down one, but you don't see them walking around doing the upside down one. You see them walking around doing the hand symbols of the upright pyramid, the upright triangle, and that's Father's. Also at the pyramid, you had the north, south, east, and west. Total center of the earth, exact coordinates of the world at that point, divided off north, south, east, and west. You could set your compass to it. Pretty interesting, huh? And no bodies have ever been found in it. They weren't tombs. They wanted to control the narrative that pyramids were tombs. They've never found bodies in them. And the Sphinx wasn't some Egyptian-looking thing. That's what they turned it into when they abominated the whole thing. It wasn't. You know what it was? It was a winged lion. It was a winged lion. And that was the guardian of the temple, the guardian of the pyramid. So, anyway, folks, this week, it's crunch time. And I'll be back on the 20th to see what's going on in New York. And if that's a timeline to what we can look forward to this weekend, because I think one event builds off the other one. So we're really going to have to see what happens with the hurricanes this week. I'm cheering them on. Sorry, folks. Anyway, be back on Wednesday. Until then, everybody, God bless.